Hi, this is Susan Nicolai, and I'm here with Does the Thought Serve You? From My Girlfriend's Guide to Having It All, How to Create a Life That Really Rocks. So, girlfriend, we've talked a little about how you create the life of your dreams by first dreaming, then believing. I've shared with you my story about manifesting the free car exactly when I needed it, but also that it isn't just magic, and I can't just imagine something and have it appear. In fact, there are things that I've really wanted and seem to be just banging my head against the wall. Until one day, I became aware of how I was actually interfering with the universal delivery system. I have always loved creating art. I can sit in my studio for hours, unaware of time, space, my iPhone ringing. I hear only my music blaring. I'm so absorbed. If I was free to just do art all the time and I didn't have to work, I would be perfectly happy. Maybe there's something that gives you a similar feeling of just disappearing into your art. However, as connected as I was when I was doing my art, there was some interference to my connection with actually being an artist. I mentioned back when we talked about why we shun compliments that there was this little voice inside me, and it was sharing thoughts that came from somewhere. That little voice was my critic. It was looking around, seeing other artists, comparing my work, and coming back with its cleverly written review. Too bad you can't draw like that other guy, it would say. Your people look like cartoon characters. And I would look at my art, and I would have to agree. Might as well not work on drawing figures, I thought. And then finally, with a sigh, I am not a real artist. I just doodle. And it didn't even help that other people would call me an artist. In fact, if they did, I would immediately tack on, "Oh, I'm just an amateur. It's just a hobby." One of my friends was so determined to prove me wrong. He came over to my house one evening and started snatching up my art. "I've got a friend at an art gallery. I'm taking your art in," he announced. And so we grabbed up about 5 different pieces and drove to the gallery downtown, whereupon we spread my art all over the floor for the gallery owner to consider. And indeed, the owner, whose name was Oscar, came down from the gallery loft and quietly posed in front of each of my pieces. My loving friend was expecting him to snatch them up and put them on the wall, I am certain. Unfortunately, Oscar offered these words of encouragement: "Keep painting." Oh, I could tell Oscar didn't want to hurt my feelings, because he gently as you can possibly say these cruel words, he said, "I wouldn't call this art." Gasp. My friend was clearly taken aback. But not that little voice in my head. That little voice was saying, "See, I told you so. I am right. You're not a real artist." I swallowed hard and tried to listen to Oscar as he explained that my work was, quote, "decorative," and perhaps something someone would want to hang above their sofa. However, it wasn't art, like the art that merited display in his gallery. "Come back again," he said, as my friend and I gathered up the unwanted pieces and stashed them in the trunk of the car. So, there it was, that thought I had been thinking. I had lived out the manifestation in the flesh right there in that gallery. Official rejection, confirmation of that thing I had been thinking. I am not a real artist. This isn't real art. I had to agree with that little voice. And I admit, part of me, you remember the perfectionist? She just wanted to throw in the paintbrushes and give up. However, I do love art. I love doing art. And I love it so much, I took one step of reconciliation. I told myself, okay, I'll just do really great decorative then. I'll be a fantastic decorator. And I painted on. Eventually, one day, I took some of my abstract textured and dyed paper and turned it into a big whimsical fish. It was fun. The cartoon-like fish had character, and people loved it. It wasn't long before I started selling fish at a local art fair. All day long, people were coming by my space and carrying my fish home. At the end of the day, the artist was right beside me, came over to compliment my work and my success. "You really had a great day," she said. And I felt a little bad because I knew she had only sold one piece all day. Then she said, "You are a real artist." Wow. I didn't argue. I couldn't. And I so wanted to say, "You are a real artist too." But I knew it didn't matter what I said, just like it didn't matter what my friends had said to me. What mattered was the little voice in my head. I knew then that it didn't serve me to hold on to the thought, "I'm not a real artist." It didn't serve me to hold on to that thought anymore. I wonder who I will be now that I can do real art. So, is there a dream you have that hasn't been fully realized yet? Ask yourself, is there a thought hanging around that doesn't serve me? Who would you be if you could change that one thought? If you can let go of that one thought, girlfriend, you can create a life that will rock and amaze you. For more information on how to create the life of your dreams, visit my blog, livingbyintention.com, and see more art at susannicolai.zenfolio.com.